Hello. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, and sharing. Today let's join my football channel starting today with English Premier League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, Saturday August 30th as follows: Chelsea vs Fulham 6:30 p.m. Indochina time, ICT/UTC 7, Manchester United vs Burnley 9 p.m, Sunderland vs Brentford, Wolverhampton Wanderers vs Everton, Tottenham Hotspur vs AFC Bournemouth, Leeds United vs Newcastle United 11:30 p.m, Sunday August 31st as follows: Nottingham Forest vs West Ham United 8 p.m, Brighton Hove Albion vs Manchester City 8 p.m, Liverpool vs Arsenal 10:30 p.m, Spanish La Liga Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, Saturday August 30th as follows: Elche vs Levante 12:30 a.m. Indochina time, ICT/UTC 7, Valencia vs Getafe 2:30 a.m, Deportivo Alaves vs Atletico Madrid 10 p.m, August 31st, Real Oviedo vs Real Sociedad 12 a.m, Girona FC vs Sevilla FC 12:30 a.m, Real Madrid vs Mallorca 2:30 a.m, Celta de Vigo vs Villarreal CF 10 p.m, French Ligue 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, Saturday August 30th as follows: RC Lens vs Stade Brest 1:45 a.m, FC Lorient vs Lille OSC 10 p.m, August 31st, Nantes vs Auxerre 12 a.m, Toulouse vs Paris Saint-Germain 2:05 a.m, Angers vs Stade Rennes 8 p.m, Paris FC vs Metz 10:15 p.m, Le Havre vs Nice 10:15 p.m, Monaco vs Strasbourg 10:15 p.m, German Bundesliga Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 2, Saturday August 30th as follows: Hamburg SV vs FC St. Pauli 1:30 a.m, TSG Hoffenheim vs Eintracht Frankfurt 8:30 p.m, RB Leipzig vs FC Heidenheim 8:30 p.m, Werder Bremen vs Bayer Leverkusen 8:30 p.m, VfB Stuttgart vs Mönchengladbach 8:30 p.m, FC Augsburg vs Bayern Munich 11:30 p.m, Calcio Serie A Italy Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 2, Friday August 29th as follows: Cremonese vs Sassuolo 11:30 p.m, August 30th, Lecce vs AC Milan 1:45 a.m, Parma vs Atalanta 11:30 p.m, Bologna vs Como 11:30 p.m, August 31st, Napoli vs Cagliari 1:45 a.m, Pisa vs Roma 1:45 a.m, Genoa vs Juventus 11:30 p.m, Torino vs Fiorentina 11:30 p.m, Belgian Jubiler Pro League Football, Season 2025 and 26 Matchday 6, Saturday August 30th as follows: Cercle Brugge vs St. Truidens 1:45 a.m, KV Mechelen vs RAL La Louvière 9 p.m, Covisi Westerlo vs Royal Antwerp FC 11:15 p.m, August 31st, Royal Charleroi SC vs FCB Dender 1:45 a.m, KAA Gent vs Club Brugge 6:30 p.m, Wood Heverlee Leuven vs Standard Liège 9 p.m, Union Saint-Gilloise vs Anderlecht 11:30 p.m, September 1st, KRC Genk vs SV Zulte Waregem 12:15 a.m, Dutch Eredivisie League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Saturday August 30th as follows: FC Groningen vs Heracles Almelo 1:30 a.m, FC Volendam vs Ajax Amsterdam 9:30 p.m, SC Heerenveen vs Go Ahead Eagles 11:45 p.m, August 31st, PSV Eindhoven vs SC Telstar 1 a.m, Excelsior Rotterdam vs FC 20 Enschede 2 a.m, Fortuna Sittard vs NEC Nijmegen 5:15 p.m, PSV Zwolle vs FC Utrecht 7:30 p.m, Sparta Rotterdam vs Feyenoord Rotterdam 7:30 p.m, Inese Breda vs AZ Alkmaar 9:45 p.m, Portuguese Primeira Liga Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Saturday August 30th as follows: Gil Vicente Barcelos vs Moreirense FC 2:15 a.m, Casa Pia vs Nacional de Madeira 9:30 p.m, August 31st, Vitória SC Guimarães vs FC Arouca 12 a.m, Avias Football vs FC Famalicão 12 a.m, Sporting Lisbon vs FC Porto 2:30 a.m, CD Tondela vs Estoril Praia 9:30 p.m, September 1st, FC Alverca vs SL Benfica 12 a.m, Santa Clara Azores vs Estrela Amadora 2:30 a.m, Rio Avenue FC vs SC Braga 2:30 a.m, Campeonato Brasileiro Serie, Season 2025-26 Matchday 20, August 31st as follows: Serra Sporting Club vs Juventude 2 a.m, Botafogo vs Red Bull Bragantino 4:30 a.m, Cruzeiro vs Sao Paulo 7 a.m, Turkish Super League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, Saturday August 30th as follows: Gaziantep Izmir vs Konyaspor 1:30 a.m, Kocaelispor vs Kayserispor 11 p.m, Kasımpaşa Istanbul vs Gaziantep FK 11 p.m. August 31st, Galatasaray vs Kakırspor 1:30 a.m. Antalyaspor vs Fatih Karagümrük 1:30 a.m. Istanbul Başakşehir vs Eyüpspor 11 p.m. Gençler Birliği SK vs Fenerbahçe 11 p.m. Mexican Liga MX Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 7, Saturday, August 30th as follows: FC Juarez vs Mazatlán FC 8 a.m., Atlético San Luis vs Deportivo Toluca FC 8 a.m., Club Puebla vs CF Monterrey 10:05 a.m., August 31st, Club Leon vs Querétaro FC 6 a.m., Club Santos Laguna vs Tigres UNL 8 a.m., CD Guadalajara vs CF Cruz Azul 8:05 a.m., CF America vs CF Pachuca 10:05 a.m., Danish Superliga Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 7, Saturday, August 30th as follows: Vila Boklub vs Viborg FF 12 a.m., August 31st, Aarhus Gymnastic Forning vs FC Fredericia 7 p.m., Odense Bold Club vs FC Nordjylland 9 p.m., Randers FC vs FC Copenhagen 11 p.m., September 1st, Brøndby vs FC Midtjylland 1 a.m., Swiss Super League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 5, Saturday, August 30th as follows: FC Thun vs Grasshopper Club Zurich 11 p.m., FC Winterthur vs FC Zurich 11 p.m., August 31st, FC Schaan vs FC Basel 1:30 a.m., FC Lausanne Sport vs FC St. Gallen 7 p.m., Servette Geneva vs FC Luzern 9:30 p.m., BSC Young Boys Bern vs FC Lugano 9:30 p.m., Scottish Premier League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Saturday, August 30th as follows: Motherwell vs Kilmarnock 9 p.m., Livingston vs Heart of Midlothian 9 p.m., August 31st, Glasgow Rangers vs Celtic Glasgow 1:30 a.m., Dundee FC vs Dundee United 8 p.m., Aberdeen vs Falkirk 9 p.m., Hibernian vs St. Mirren 9 p.m., Austrian Bundesliga Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 5, Saturday, August 30th as follows: LASK Linz vs SV Oberbank 10 p.m., Red Bull Salzburg vs FC Blau-Weiß Linz 10 p.m., August 31st, Grazer AK vs SK Sturmgres 12:30 a.m., FK Austria Vienna vs SC Rheindorf Altach 10 p.m., TSV Hartberg vs SK Rapid Vienna 10 p.m., WSG Tyrol vs Wolfsberger AC 10 p.m., Russian Premier League, Season 2025-26 Matchday 7, Saturday, August 30th as follows: FC Orenburg vs FK Rubin Kazan 6 p.m., Zenit St. Petersburg vs Paris Nizhny Novgorod 8:15 p.m., Spartak Moscow vs FK Sochi 10:30 p.m., August 31st, FK Rostov vs Akhmet Grozny 12:45 a.m., Akron Tolyatti vs Baltika Kaliningrad 5:30 p.m., Lokomotiv Moscow vs Krylia Suvtov Samara 7:45 p.m., CSKA Moscow vs Krasnodar 10 p.m., September 1st, Dynamo Makhachkala vs Dynamo Moscow 12:30 a.m., Japanese J-League 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 28, Saturday, August 30th as follows: Yokohama FC vs Tokyo Verdy 4 p.m., Vissel Kobe vs Yokohama F Marinos 5 p.m., Kyoto Sanga vs Fagiano Okayama 5 p.m., August 31st, Shimizu S-Pulse vs Kashima Antlers 4:30 p.m., Cerezo Osaka vs Sanfrecce Hiroshima 5 p.m., Shonan Bellmare vs Gamba Osaka, Kashiwa Reysol vs Avispa Fukuoka, Nagoya Grampus vs FC Tokyo, Urawa Red Diamonds vs Albirex Niigata, Kawasaki Frontale vs Machida Zelvia, Korean League 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 28, Saturday, August 30th as follows: Jeju SK vs Gwangju FC 5 p.m., Taegu FC vs Suwon FC 5 p.m., Ulsan Hyundai vs Jeonbuk FC 5 p.m., August 31st, Daejeon Citizen FC vs Gimcheon Sangmu FC 5 p.m., Kawon FC vs Pohang Steelers 5 p.m., FC Seoul vs FC Anyang 5 p.m., Saudi Pro League, Season 2025-26 Matchday 1, Al Hilal SFC vs Al Riyadh SC 10:50 p.m., August 30th, Al Tawan FC vs Al Nasser SC 1 a.m., Al Shabab FC Saudi vs Al Khalij Club 1 a.m., Al Fateh SC vs Al Faya FC 10:55 p.m., Chinese Super League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 23, Friday, August 29th as follows: Qingdao Hanyu FC Hunan FC, August 30th, Chengdu Rongqing vs Shanghai Port FC 6:35 p.m., Yunnan Yukon vs Chongqing Yutai 7 p.m., August 31st, Wuhan Three Towns vs Shanghai Xinhua FC 6 p.m., Shandong Taishan FC vs Beijing Goan 6:35 p.m., Shenzhen Peng City vs Meizhou Hakka 6:35 p.m., Indonesia Liga 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Results. Last night, Bayangkara Persisai beat Persis Solo 2-0, Persatuan Sepak Bola Biak lost to Persik Kediri 1-2, Dua United lost to Persija Jakarta 1-3, Indonesia Liga 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Saturday, August 30th as follows. Persijap Japra vs Arema FC 3:30 p.m, Malat United vs PSM Yogyakarta 7 p.m, Bali United vs Madura United 7 p.m, August 31st, PSM Makassar vs Persebaya Surabaya 3:30 p.m, Persib Bandung vs Borneo Samarinda 7 p.m, Persita Tangerang vs Semen Padang FC 7 p.m, Vietnam V-League 1 Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, as follows, Lutsong Viettel FC vs Becamx Ho Chi Minh City 7:15 p.m, September 13th, Song and TP Ho Chi Minh City vs Thepsan Nam Dinh FC 7:15 p.m, Kongan Hanoi vs Haiphong FC, Malaysian Super League, Season 2025 out of 26 Matchday 3, Penang FA vs Kelantan The Real Warriors FC 8 p.m, Thailand's Premier League Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 3, Friday 29 to Saturday August 30th as follows, Athaithani FC vs Ayutthaya United FC, August 30th, Nakhon Ratchasima FC vs Ratchaburi FC 6 p.m, Lampon Warriors FC vs Chonburi 6:30 p.m, Bangkok United vs BG Pathum United 7 p.m, Port FC vs Rayong FC 7:30 p.m, Chiang Rai United vs Buriram United August 31st 6 p.m, Prachuap FC vs Sukhothai FC August 31st 6:30 p.m, Muang Thong United vs Kanchanaburi Power FC August 31st 7 p.m, English EFL Championship Football, Season 2025-26 Matchday 4, Saturday August 30th as follows, Leicester City vs Birmingham City 2 a.m, Stoke City vs West Bromwich Albion 6:30 p.m, Middlesbrough vs Sheffield United, Queen's Park Rangers vs Charlton Athletic, Bristol City vs Hull City 9 p.m, Oxford United vs Coventry City, Sheffield Wednesday vs Swansea City, Ipswich Town vs Derby County, Millwall FC vs Wrexham AFC, Blackburn Rovers vs Norwich City, Watford vs Southampton, Portsmouth vs Preston North End, English EFL Cup.